Hi there, this is Don from Exponential Internet and Mobile Marketing, and today we're going to do a brief presentation on how to use Google's URL shortener and QR code generator for internet and mobile marketing. Well, what is Google's URL shortener? Well, it's a free service that Google provides. It can be found at goo.gl, and what it does is you can take a URL from any site and any size or length, and you put it into a box that they provide. You click shorten and it outputs a 10-character URL that you can use. Well, and again, so what are the benefits of a shortened URL? So after you've gotten this shortened URL from Google service, how can you use it, or what is the benefit of using this? Well, they're aesthetically more pleasing. If you had a URL that you were directing users to and it was some obnoxious 200-character URL, you would want to put something shorter in place, just because, again, it's just a better experience for the user. They don't want to be reading every little subdirectory in the URL that you've pasted into your web page or email. Number two, long URLs can get garbled. When they're too long, sometimes things get transcribed incorrectly, or if they're being repeated, or again, if you're cutting and pasting it into something, sometimes you can miss some characters, or people aren't hearing things correctly if it was repeated. Easy to use when cutting and pasting. I already mentioned that. Another benefit, a really good one, is the shortened URLs are used for tracking purposes. So when you have one of these shortened URLs, every time it's clicked on, the service also tracks how many times it's been clicked. So you could see, depending on the URL, and you could create several different ones for different purposes. Say if you had one in an email that you sent out, you could track again how many people have clicked on that one. Or if you had one at a certain web page, you could see how many people are clicking on that. So you could use it for marketing purposes, and then track who's clicking it and from which device as well. And I'll demonstrate that after the PowerPoint, just where these tracking features are located. You can get more clicks than a long URL. So a bit of psychology plays into here. People are more likely to click on a shorter URL than a longer one. And lastly, they're used with Google's QR code generator. So obviously that's just the Google URL shortener can be used with the QR code generator. There's other services available, paid and some free, but in this case we're just talking about Google's free service. So how do you use a short URL? Well, you can use these short URLs for email campaigns, print marketing, so SMS marketing. So when you're sending messages and updates to mobile phones and smartphones, there's a 140 to 160 character limit. So you don't want to use up most of those characters for an extremely long URL. So that's where the short URL comes in handy, because you can save on character space and again reserve those characters for a marketing message or something with some more value. Links to other websites. Twitter, again, 140 character limit on Twitter, so short URLs are popular when using that. And microblogs. Well, that brings us to part 2 of the presentation, Google QR code generator. So using your short URL to generate a QR code. So if you don't know, so what is a QR code? Well, QR stands for quick response, and the premise of a QR code was to provide users and customers with quick access to information. They're similar to traditional two-dimensional barcodes. The QR codes originated in Japan, I believe around 1996, from what I've read. So they've been around for several years. We're just a little slow to adopt this in North America. QR codes are scanned using smartphones with QR code readers. So there's plenty of free QR code readers out there for every type of phone platform out there, especially smartphones for iPhones, Android, Blackberries. There's tons of free applications out there. QR codes contain information such as URL information, contact information, and short notes. although you can have QR codes that will have that information separately, you cannot combine those three elements into a single QR code. You would need separate QR codes for each one of those. So how do you use a QR code? Well, again, they're used to provide quick access to information for consumers. And at the bottom of the screen on the right, you can see there's a little picture of a Canon PowerShot G11 digital camera. The price is $499.99, and there's a QR code indicated by the red arrow. What you could do is you could take your smartphone with the QR code reader, scan that, and if you had an application on your smartphone, it could go out and query the local businesses in the area, see who has that particular model of camera, and you could see who's got the best price. And if that was on eBay or Amazon, or even again a local store, it would give you quick access to that information. So that's just an example of how they can be used. QR codes can also be used to track the effectiveness of different types of advertising media. So for flyers, newspapers, storefront decals, business cards, you can track and see who's scanning which barcode, again from which different type of media. So you can see how your money's being spent. So if you have lots of scans coming from newspaper articles, for example, or advertisements, then you could maybe redirect some more funds into promoting that more. Storefronts are also getting these QR codes, and they're using them for promotions and coupons and giveaways and things like that. So next time you're in the mall, you could look around and see some of the storefronts that do have these placed in their windows. So again, where are QR codes used? We already mentioned a few places they can be used, but again, they're for product details, offer details, coupons. You can have QR codes directing people to your Twitter, Facebook, or MySpace, link to a YouTube video. Business cards are popular, so someone could take your business card with a QR code, scan it, and then the phone will prompt them to save that contact information, so you don't have to worry about typing or putting in information. You can just scan, so that's pretty useful. So Google's QR code generator. So within that, tracking includes the short URL and the QR code. So once you create a short URL, a QR code is automatically generated, and then the tracking is again, it's not separated between QR code and the short URL. So each time either one of those is used, it's combined in a single line item, so it's incremented as one. And again, I'll demonstrate that in a minute. Again, they're created automatically. I already mentioned that. And you may lose some fidelity if used with print media, and this is just with the Google QR code. It's 150 by 150 pixels, so that may be fine for some uses that you have, but if you need something larger, and if you try to scale that one that Google provides, it could become pixelated, and again, you can lose some fidelity when using that. So you may need to turn to another service that provides you with that flexibility, or a paid service. And that will lead us into our video demo. Okay, let's get started. So the first thing we're going to do is go to the URL shortener website. So that is at goo.gl. Enter, and there we go. So I'm just going to take just a URL from my own website, xpotential.net. Let's grab something from search engine optimization. Get the gold package. Let's say if I wanted to send this out in an email, for example, I would copy that instead of having everyone look at this huge long URL. I would just paste it in there and click shorten. And there we go. So that is the shortened URL. So I could just kind of highlight that. Copy. I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to paste it in there just to test it. See if it works, and it does. Exactly. So there's some tracking information located underneath. You can't see that right now because I'm not signed in. So anyone can create a shortened URL, However, if you want to use the tracking information built into this free service, you need to log in with your Google account. So if everyone could just turn their head away from the screen, and I'll just sign in. Yeah, obviously joking. So there we go. So you can see I've been playing around with this quite a bit, just doing some testing and seeing how things work. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to grab this URL again, copy it, paste it, I'm going to click shorten, and you'll see underneath, lo and behold, it says it was created a few seconds ago. So that's the new shortened URL. Again, you could have multiple URLs again, so you could just track where each one is used. If I use the same URL for an email or my web page, or on a mobile marketing campaign, or from social media, if I had one on Facebook that I wanted people to look at, I could see exactly where those clicks were coming from. So that's really a cool feature. And so what I can do here, again, you can see clicks for the past. It says 2 hours, day, week, month, all time. I don't have a lot of clicks here again because I'm just using it for testing. There's a details link here, so I'm going to click on that and see what they got there. You can see up at the top there is there's a QR code, and underneath that you can see there's a little tiny URL located there. So it's the shortened URL that we have right here, and there's a suffix at the end. It's a .qr. So if I were to take this, for example, this shortened URL, I'm just going to open up a new tab. I'm going to paste it in there, and at the end I'm going to go .qr, enter, and there a QR code is generated. I'm just going to drag that so you can see it. So there's the QR code, and you can see embedded in the URL itself. You can see it's 150 by 150, so that's the size of the QR code in this case. So back to details. They have some other, again, information on clicks. There's not a lot of information, but there's enough information. Again, it is a free service, so it's pretty good. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to take my smartphone with my QR code reader on it. I'm going to scan the QR code, and we're going to see if that increments the tracking information. So I'm going to take my phone, and you can hear that sound. It read the QR code, and it is redirecting me to that link on my website. So you'll have to take my word for it. It did work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the details page, refresh that, and you can see it did increment 1 here. So the country is Canada, correct. Safari browser, right, that's on my iPhone, and again it is an iPhone. So that was interesting. And there we have it. I think that's it. So that's just a brief overview of Google's URL shortener and QR code generator. Thanks very much. Bye.